In 1962, Monika Hingston walked down the aisle on what many would consider an unconventional wedding day. Clad in a flowing white gown with a long train, she made her vows in front of an audience, but there was no earthly groom waiting for her. Instead, she was pledging her life to Jesus Christ, symbolically becoming his bride. After the ceremony, Monika stepped into a room beside the cathedral, where two nuns awaited her. They handed her a plain black habit and asked her to remove her white wedding dress. Moments later, they cut her hair short, a physical sign of her dedication and humility. For Monika, this was the start of a new chapter, her reception into the convent. Her path to this moment was far from predictable. As a teenager, Monika wasn't the picture of piety. She was bold, rebellious, and spirited, a chain smoker who dated a motorbike-riding boyfriend. Yet, she came from a devout Catholic family. Her father, especially, saw her decision to join the convent as an honor and a calling from God. Her mother, on the other hand, was more apprehensive. She worried that Monika was giving up too much, closing off the possibilities of what her life could become. Despite her own misgivings, Monika had been deeply influenced by the nuns who taught her in school. They weren't just women of faith, they were role models. Intelligent, kind, and driven by a sense of purpose, they lived lives that seemed both meaningful and admirable. Their commitment to helping others without expecting anything in return left a lasting impression on her. She saw them as embodying the best qualities of humanity, and she wanted to emulate their dedication and compassion. But the choice to join the convent wasn't without internal conflict. Monika's independent streak didn't fade when she donned the habit. She was drawn to a life of service, but she couldn't ignore the restrictive aspects of religious life. Still, at just 21 years old, she believed in the path she was choosing. For better or worse, this was the beginning of a profound journey, one that would test her faith, challenge her identity, and ultimately lead her to a life she never could have anticipated. And so, Monika began her life as a nun, stepping into a world of devotion, discipline, and sacrifice. Little did she know, her path would take her to places and bring her face to face with emotions she had never imagined. This sets the stage for the next chapter of Monika's story, where her time in the convent reveals both the rewards and the challenges of her chosen life. Monika Hingston's early days in the convent were filled with devotion, but as the years went on, cracks began to form in her understanding of religious life. While she admired the nuns who inspired her, living within the rigid structures of the church began to test her patience and resolve. Her cousin, Cardinal George Pell, one of the most influential figures in the Catholic Church, was a prominent voice in her life. During a visit, he criticized her teaching methods, accusing her of focusing on superficial ideas he called nothing but fairy floss. Monika had been encouraging her students to think critically and empower themselves, but his remarks stung. To Monika, they reflected a broader dismissiveness within the church toward independent thought and progressive ideas. This wasn't an isolated experience. Monika found herself questioning many of the practices and expectations of convent life. One peculiar rule involved the nuns rearranging furniture simply to demonstrate their obedience to authority. While these acts were framed as exercises in humility and discipline, they often felt to Monika like empty rituals, disconnected from the meaningful work she had envisioned when she joined. Her intellectual curiosity only deepened her frustrations. Monika loved reading, especially philosophy, but many texts were deemed inappropriate or even dangerous by the church. One day, she was caught reading a banned book. Instead of engaging with her curiosity, a superior gave her a chilling warning, "Careful, you can read your way out of the church." For Monika, these restrictions felt like barriers to the truth she was seeking. She wanted to grow, to question, and to deepen her understanding of the world and her place in it. Yet, the structures around her seemed more focused on control than on fostering a vibrant, questioning faith. As the years passed, Monika began to feel the weight of her doubts. The values that had initially drawn her to the convent, compassion, service, and a higher purpose, were overshadowed by rigid hierarchies and outdated rules. At the same time, her adventurous spirit refused to be stifled. Monika found ways to push boundaries, whether through her teachings or her personal explorations. But the more she challenged the status quo, the more she realized how deeply at odds she was with the institution she had committed her life to. These moments of tension planted the seeds of change. Monika was beginning to see that her life as a nun, while meaningful in many ways, might not be the lifelong calling she once believed it to be. She didn't yet have all the answers, but she knew that staying on this path would require ignoring the questions that had become impossible to silence. This struggle would come to a head in the years ahead, as Monika's journey took her far beyond the walls of the convent and into uncharted emotional and spiritual territory. What she didn't yet realize was that the answers she sought would come from an unexpected source, and that her path was about to change forever. By the time Monika Hingston took her sabbatical in South America, she was already carrying the weight of her doubts about the convent. The year away offered a chance to reset, to rediscover her purpose. It was during this time that Monika's journey took an unexpected turn, one that would redefine her life completely. In Chile, Monika worked alongside 2 American nuns to establish a center for struggling Chilean women. It was challenging, yet deeply fulfilling work, allowing Monika to focus on the kind of empowerment and compassion that had initially drawn her to religious life. Among her colleagues was Peg, a fellow nun who had devoted 25 years of her life to the church. Peg had a calm strength about her, intelligent, empathetic, and quietly driven. She shared Monika's passion for uplifting others, and the two of them quickly formed a bond. What began as shared late-night conversations about their work and dreams slowly grew into something deeper. Peg became more than just a colleague. She became a confidant, someone who truly understood Monika's struggles and aspirations. Their connection deepened with every passing day. They'd linger after meetings, talking about life and their hopes for the women they were helping. When Monika had doubts, Peg was there with reassurance. When Peg felt uncertain, Monika provided support. It was a partnership unlike anything Monika had experienced before, something that felt transformative. Then came the moment that would change everything. One evening, Peg broke the silence. With a trembling voice, she confessed, "I don't want you to leave, but I'm afraid to ask you to stay." The weight of her words hit Monika like a revelation. She realized in that instant that every road she traveled, every doubt, every challenge, had led her to Peg. It wasn't just admiration or friendship, it was love. For a nun, this was uncharted territory. Monika's vows, her identity, and the life she built within the church suddenly felt like barriers standing between her and her heart. But rather than fight her feelings, Monika embraced them. Peg felt the same, and together they made a decision that would shake the foundations of their lives. They would leave the church to be together. The first step was to write to the Pope, requesting a release from their vows. It was a daunting task, but both Monika and Peg were unwavering in their commitment to one another. They poured their hearts into the letters, explaining their decision with honesty and respect. As they sealed their letters, Monika felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. They were stepping into the unknown, leaving behind the only life they'd ever known. But they were also stepping toward each other, toward a life built on love and authenticity. Their journey was just beginning, and while they couldn't know what the future would hold, Monika and Peg had already made the most important choice: to follow their hearts together. Little did they know, their story would become a powerful testament to courage, love, and the pursuit of happiness, even in the face of immense uncertainty. Leaving the church wasn't just a step into the unknown for Monika Hingston and Peg. It was a leap of faith. With their vows officially released, they moved to the seaside town of Torquay, Australia, ready to begin a new chapter as a couple. Torquay, with its rolling waves and open skies, became the backdrop for their love story, a sanctuary where they could live authentically for the first time. Their life together was simple, yet profoundly fulfilling. They established a routine that celebrated the love they shared. Daily hugs weren't just an expression of affection. They were a cornerstone of their connection. Every embrace was a reminder of the courage it took to get there, and the joy they found in each other's presence. They talked endlessly about their dreams, hopes, and even their fears. Peg's warmth and humor matched Monica's quiet strength and wisdom. For Monika, it was as if every missing piece of her life had fallen into place. She often marveled at how effortless their connection felt, describing their bond as something far deeper than physical attraction. It was a partnership rooted in mutual respect, shared values, and an unshakable sense of belonging. But life in Torquay wasn't without its challenges. The early 2000s were a time when marriage equality was still a distant dream in Australia. The church, the institution they had once devoted their lives to, actively opposed same-sex unions. Monika's cousin, Cardinal George Pell, became one of the loudest voices championing this opposition. Pell's public denunciations of LGBTQ+ relationships were not only disheartening but deeply personal for Monika. Here was someone she had grown up with, someone whose faith she had once admired, now condemning the very love that brought her so much joy. Monika wrestled with her emotions, torn between anger and sadness. Finally, she decided to confront him in the most personal way she knew how, through a letter. In it, Monika described her relationship with Peg in vivid detail, not as a political statement, but as an expression of truth. "It is a rare and precious gift," she wrote. "A partnership of sensitivity and selflessness, of warmth and humor, of wonder and beauty. It daily enriches me. It empowers me to work for the well-being of others." The letter was a plea for understanding, but it fell on deaf ears. Pell never responded. Hurt but undeterred, Monika confided in a friend, who suggested making the letter public. At first, Monika hesitated. She feared the backlash and worried about exposing such a personal part of her life. But then she thought of Peg, of their love, and of others who might feel alone in their struggles. She agreed, and the letter was published in a newspaper. The response was overwhelming. Monika received nearly 200 calls and emails from people across the country, many of whom shared their own stories of isolation and pain as LGBTQ+ Catholics. One man, choking back tears, told her the letter had made him feel seen for the first time in his life. Monika was stunned. What began as a deeply personal act had rippled outward, touching lives in ways she never imagined. She and Peg celebrated the impact their story was having, finding solace in the knowledge that their love was making a difference. Their relationship became a beacon of hope for others, a testament to the power of authenticity and the courage it takes to fight for love in the face of adversity. While the world around them continued to debate the validity of same-sex unions, Monika and Peg held fast to what they knew to be true. Their love was real, it was profound, and it was worth every sacrifice. Their days in Torquay were filled with quiet joys and shared dreams, but neither of them could predict how fleeting this chapter would be, or how their love story would inspire others long after. In 2011, Monika and Peg's idyllic life in Torquay took a devastating turn. Peg was diagnosed with gallbladder cancer, a cruel and aggressive illness. Monika could hardly believe it. The woman who had been her rock, her soulmate, was now facing a battle they both knew might not be winnable. The months that followed were a blur of hospital visits, treatments, and fleeting moments of hope. Peg, ever resilient and optimistic, tried to shield Monika from the worst of it. But as her condition worsened, their conversations turned to the inevitable. Peg's focus was on ensuring Monika would find the strength to carry on after she was gone. 3 months after her diagnosis, Peg passed away at the age of 74. Monika, at 70, was left grappling with an emptiness she had never known. In the days following Peg's death, Monika received a final letter from her. Written during her last days, it was a poignant farewell, a love letter brimming with wisdom and gratitude. Peg wrote about how much Monika had meant to her and drew on a powerful symbol, the owl. Owls symbolize intelligence, brilliance, perspective, intuition, quick wit, independence, wisdom, protection, mystery, and power. Peg had written, "You are all of these, dearest Mon." The letter was a testament to the deep love they had shared, but it was also a reminder of what Monika had lost. Grief wrapped itself around her like a heavy fog, smothering the vibrancy of life. The activities she had once enjoyed, playing golf, listening to music, strolling along the beach, became unbearable. Each reminder of Peg was too painful to confront. Monika felt trapped in her sadness, unsure if she would ever find her way back to the woman she used to be. A year passed in this haze of grief, and then one morning, something extraordinary happened. Monika awoke to a commotion outside her house. Crows were cawing and attacking something in a small tree by her window. Curious but apprehensive, she slowly raised the blinds. There, perched in the tree, was a magnificent barn owl. Its feathers were a luminous white, and its heart-shaped face seemed to radiate calm. The owl didn't flinch or flutter away. It simply held Monika's gaze for what felt like an eternity. In that moment, Monika felt something shift inside her. It was as if Peg was sending her a message through this silent visitor. The fog began to lift, replaced by a quiet sense of comfort. For the first time since Peg's passing, Monika felt truly alive again. Monika's life has been a journey defined by transformation, courage, and the relentless pursuit of authenticity. From her days as a young nun in a convent, bound by vows of devotion, to finding her soulmate in Peg, Monika's story is one of breaking free from societal and institutional expectations to embrace the profound truth of her own heart. The public revelation of her love for Peg, sparked by her heartfelt letter to her cousin, Cardinal Pell, became a turning point not just in Monika's life but for many others as well. LGBTQ+ individuals, especially those struggling within the Catholic community, found solace and solidarity in her words. Her letter, which described her relationship with Peg as a rare and precious gift, resonated far beyond what Monika could have anticipated. She received calls, letters, and emails from people who had felt isolated, unloved, or rejected. They shared how her story gave them the courage to come out, to confront their fears, and to live authentically. Monika's vulnerability became a beacon of hope for those navigating their own battles against stigma and misunderstanding. Even in her grief, Monika's impact continued to ripple outward. The barn owl that appeared after Peg's passing became more than just a symbol of their love. It represented the enduring power of connection and the transcendent nature of love itself. For Monika, the owl was a message that life, even in its darkest moments, holds room for hope and renewal. This belief has fueled Monika's resolve to keep sharing her story. She speaks not only of the challenges she faced, but also of the liberation that came from choosing love over fear. She hopes her journey reminds others that authenticity is worth every risk and that love, in all its forms, is the most universal and transformative force we have. Monika's resilience is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and thrive. Even after losing Peg, she has found ways to honor their bond while forging a new path for herself. By embracing the lessons of her past and the wisdom Peg left behind, Monika continues to inspire those around her. Her message is simple yet profound. Life is too short to live according to others' expectations. True fulfillment comes from listening to your heart and having the courage to follow it, even when the road is uncertain. Monika's life is proof that the pursuit of love, authenticity, and connection is a journey worth taking. As Monika reflects on her extraordinary life, she sees herself not as a victim of circumstance, but as a woman who has lived fully, loved deeply, and fought fiercely for her truth. She hopes her story will encourage others to do the same, to find their own version of the barn owl, a moment of clarity, hope, and transcendence that reminds them they are never truly alone. In the end, Monika's legacy is one of resilience, love, and the unwavering belief that we all deserve a life that feels true to who we are. Through her story, she invites us all to embrace our own journeys with courage and hope, knowing that every step, no matter how difficult, brings us closer to the life we were meant to live. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications as we bring you new stories daily. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.